You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, it's Monday the 8th of September 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. I didn't know if I was going to get any writing done today. I haven't, but it's all fine because it's been a sort of writing adjacent day. So it's all been stuff related to writing, even if I haven't done any actual writing. So I met up with my friend Tani Campbell, T.G. Campbell, as you will know if you read the Bow Street Society books at bowstreetsociety.com. And we haven't had a bit of a proper in-person catch-up for a couple of weeks. So it was nice to do that. And we actually went to lunch. Now I'm dieting, but it's my birthday in the next few days. One of those days is my birthday. I'm not going to say which one. I might have said it last year. I honestly can't remember. But anyway, so we sort of had lunch. It was really nice, actually. I had a carvery, and I've been counting my carbs for the last sort of 10 days, and I have lost a bit of weight. But today I allowed myself to have a really nice carvery meal. I mean, to be fair, most of the stuff was okay. It was probably the potatoes and the Yorkshire puddings that I shouldn't have had, but it's that I didn't eat breakfast, so it was the main meal I had today, so that was nice. Then we went back to hers. She showed me, so basically what I want to start doing in the future is create EPUB versions of my books, that if somebody decides they want to beta read it electronically, it's easier for them to do so. And actually she showed me rather than telling me, which I learn much better by being shown. So she showed me how to create an EPUB version, and that looked relatively straightforward actually. So I'm going to practice by creating an EPUB version of either The English Hikikomori or Still Life in the near future. So that was all good. And then we got talking about our various writing projects. Obviously I can't tell you about hers. The only thing I can tell you is that I really like the sound of the 8th book of the Bow Street Society series. I will be one of her beta readers, I expect, so I will be getting to read it ahead of most people, but I'm looking forward to it because if you've been following the series, it's leading inexorably towards a particular moment, and the closer you get to that moment, and we must be getting fairly close now. I don't think it'll be this book, but I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be good. And we also got chatting about, obviously, mine, because she's reading Empress of the Trees for me at the moment. And there's a couple of really interesting bits came out of it. So I wrote the Minister of DEFRA, which is the Department for something fisheries, and anyway, the environment, fisheries and all that. And I just kind of saw him as a bit of a generic Tory. Now, I don't actually state what political party he's affiliated to in the story, but the story is set in 2018 and it's got a female prime minister. I don't name the female prime minister, but in my head it was always meant to be Theresa May. But I don't name her, and that's deliberate. But I kind of, she thinks he's a better human being than I actually thought he was, which is really interesting. So she thinks there's an integrity about him, that although he's a career politician, he actually wants to do the right things, which is absolutely possible. I'm not saying there aren't MPs like that, which is really interesting, or ministers, should I say, like that, because I didn't specifically... Well, I obviously did write him that way, but it wasn't necessarily intentional because I know he's a Tory. I kind of just assumed he was a bit of a sleazebag, but actually he's coming across much, much better than that, which is fascinating. So I really enjoyed talking about that. And the other thing we talked about was my non-binary character, Marianne. And again, some really interesting stuff to come out of that. So the feedback was that everybody's kind of using that character, and their function is to be almost like the skivvy in no, skivvy is the wrong word, actually, that's too harsh, but that's how the characters are treating her. And that's really, because that wasn't my intention. I had one character who deliberately doesn't boss them around and ask them stuff. But all the other characters basically say, oh, Marianne, do this, Marianne, do that. And yeah, and there's a really good point that was made, that there's a moment where Marianne acts as emotional support for Ronnie. But there's the question about whether they're actually friends, or whether Ronnie sees her as a friend, or just somebody whose function is to do various roles in the house, including potentially that emotional support. And that's really interesting. And might need a bit of tweaking, but then I don't know, because it's, I suppose it's, the concern is that it looks as though, I'm trying to push the non-binary character into that subservient role, which absolutely wasn't my intention. And if that's how it comes across, then it will have to be rewritten, I think. And it's just little moments, and would be easy to rewrite. So, it's not like... But no, that's really interesting, because I hadn't thought about that. And there's one quite empowering moment, or what could be an empowering moment, that isn't, but with a very minor rewrite could be. So no, I enjoyed having that conversation today, and thank you for allowing me to smash one of your mugs, Tani. That was very good of you, thank you. Yes, I broke a mug, I'm a klutz. Anyway, that's me for today. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully having actually done a couple of writing sprints and got a bit of the next chapter written. Thanks so much for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.